Guys, start. We are on live.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, one and all. Welcome to the second day of 𝗏𝗏𝗧𝗏, an initiative of SIMSA Kerala on behalf of World AIDS Day. Myself, Sriranjini, a member of SIMSA Kerala. SIMSA, the South Indian Medical Students Association, is a consortium of by and for the medical students of South India. It was founded on 10th June 2020 when a group of passionate medical students came together, understanding the need for more opportunities and exposure to the South Indian medicals. SIMSA is recognized under the Government of India. All healthcare students studying any year of their degree are welcome to come forth and become a part of this organization and be more. Here are the instructions for today's event. All of you, please make sure that you will fill the form, both the pre and post event. The pre-event form has already been put in the WhatsApp group. The post-event form will be put only in the live chat. All of you, please make sure that you will fill it before leaving. Any questions for the speaker can be put in the live chat. Certificates will be issued based on the pre and post-event form responses. Now, I welcome all to the webinar session on the topic Youth Sexuality, Pain and Pleasure. Almost 20 years ago, a group of 12 artists came forward calling themselves Visual AIDS Group, putting a red ribbon to show solidarity with the people living with HIV and to those families who had lost their loved ones to the disease. The color red shows its connection with blood and passion, and not just anger, but love, as in Valentine, as quoted by its founder. 2 decades later, it has become a global sign of solidarity against AIDS, and in lieu with the 2020 World AIDS Day theme, Global Solidarity, Shared Responsibility. Let us pledge our support and compassion towards every survivor of AIDS. And we at SIMSA brings to you an interesting and interactive webinar on the topic Youth Sexuality, Pain and Pleasure, where we aim to educate our audience on the concepts of sexuality, self-pleasure, and other must-knows. And to shed more light on the topic, we have a renowned guest with us today. He is a specialist in sexual medicine. He is a director of 𝗏𝗏 Institute of Sexual Studies, consultant at Nanavati Super Specialty Hospital, Department of Sexual Medicine, Family Planning Association of India. He was awarded the Lifetime Achievement Golden Lamp Award, Council of Sex Education and Parenthood International. He is also the editor of Therapy of Common Sexual Problems, FLASH. He is also a winner of Oration Award for many years. He was also awarded so many awards to his contributions in the sexual medicine field. He is also the workshop leader in Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and India. He has also conducted many national and international workshops. He is also the founder trustee and vice chairman of Council of Sex Education and Parenthood International. I'm really honored and proud to introduce this eminent doctor, Dr. Raj Brahmabhat sir, to this webinar session. Welcome, sir. Welcome to the session.
Good evening. First slide.
Now, let us hear from the expert itself. So, over to you, sir.
Right. Good evening, friends. Season's greeting. At the onset, let me thank Gauri and his complete team of SIMSA. I'm very proud of all of you. And in the beginning, I would say you people need a big round of applause from all the listeners. Because during lockout period, how to go about and how to do something very interesting, I think you are an example to it, you know. So the next slide. Now I have to speak on youth sexuality, pain and pleasure. Now all of you have passed through your life in this particular period, and some of you are still into the youth, It is the door between childhood and adulthood. It's a transit period. One side there is a pain, one side there is a pleasure. Sex is just the beginning, not the end. But if you miss the beginning, you will miss the end also. So let's start. There are various definitions which has been given for the youth, early, middle, late youth, For our today's practical purpose, we will be taking from 15 years to 25 years. And I was lucky that I was with SECRT, that is Sexuality Education Council Research Therapy and Training, and we had worked with a lot of youth across the India. So today, what I will be sharing my 40 years of experience of a grassroots level, schools, colleges, doctors, and even the remotest corner of India. So let's start. After youth, the first word is a sexuality. I have not used the word sex. There's a lot of difference between sex and sexuality. When we say penis or vagina, the organ, that is sex. When we say intercourse, that is sex. When we say male or a female, that is sex. But when we say sex is a specific physical activity, while sexuality is a dimension of a personality. Your sexuality depends upon which family you were born, whether it was a very conservative or open family, what religion you followed, who were your friends, which school you went, which college you went, what was your first sexual experience, which country you are living. All those makes your sexuality, and that is the dimension of your personality. So it is sum total of all is what you are today. What is right and wrong? One side there is a burqa and another side is a bikini. There is nothing like right and wrong. It depends upon time to time, place to place, situation to situation, country to country. It goes on changing. There is nothing like black and white. There are many gray areas in between. These are the three pioneers. I would love to salute them. Freud, he said that the sexuality does not start at puberty, but it starts soon after the birth. Well, Kinsey, he was an entomologist. First time he brought out what happens behind the closed door. He interviewed 18,000 people across the America. And Kinsey's male volume and female volume, that tells us a lot of things about sexual behavior of a male and a female. And then the Masters and Johnson, whom I consider a 𝗶𝗴្𝗍𝗏 of the modern medicine. These two people, they worked and they found out two books. One is a human sexual response, that what happens during the sex act to a man and a woman. And the same thing, human sexual inadequacy, how to treat them. It was amazing work which they have done it, And it was a very difficult word because all those people, there were a lot of taboo and they have to face lot many problems when they talked about sex, and particularly Freud, when he talked in the Victorian era. I think that what is happening to me is so wonderful that I am not only what it can be seen in my body, it's taking place inside. I'd never discuss myself with anybody, and that is why I have to talk to myself about them. Anna Frank, she was a German Jew, then she went to Amsterdam. She died at a very young age of 15 years, and her diary tells a lot of things about the youth. Even after so many years, I think it is still absolutely relevant today. What happens suddenly at the puberty? Why suddenly the things changes? So there is a hypothalamus, then the pituitary, and then the gonads like testes and ovaries. Testes gives testosterone and ovaries gives progesterone and estrogen. So hypothalamus stimulates the pituitary gland, and then there's a growth spurt which occurs. Again, Ovaries and testes, as I told you, it generates the testosterone, female estrogen and progesterone. These are the hormones, sex hormone, which we say. And because of that, lot of development, which are physical, psychological, emotional, occurs in the male and the female. Now, sex differences at the puberty, all of you have gone through. The women start becoming matured at least 2 to 3 years early. And menarche, the first menstrual cycle, which happens, now this is coming out. Our forefathers and grandparents, they got around the age of 15, 16, 17. Now, because of good nutrition and other things, it is coming out menarche much earlier. And same thing, the first ejaculation occurs around 12 to 13 years. And these are the changes. Now, as I said, that the girl starts maturing 2 years earlier than the boy. And the boy, suddenly the voice cracks, there are pimples on the face, and he feels very awkward. This is a very, very painful period of a boy to develop, go into the adolescence, What girls like? Mills and booms. She like romance, love, love songs. Man, on the other hand, would like to see a nude body, sex act. He's interested in the physical aspect. But now I do see some of the women, they are interested in even Harold Robbins, which also gives, or they are interested in the male striptease also. So as I told you earlier, that sexuality goes on changing from time to time. Maybe after 5 years I come, I'll be talking entirely different than what I have talked today. It does not take place at the same time. Now, I was invited in one of the suburbs of Bombay, that was the Malad. I'll be talking some personal experiences which I had seen ground truth. It was in a slums. There was no audio visual available. So I make 15 and 16 years, 4 boys stand on one side and girls on another side. And I said, look at the change. Somebody developed a mustache. Somebody has no mustache or no beard. Somebody, there was a big, there is a height was increased. Somebody was a short. Same thing with the girls. Somebody developed the breast and somebody was even flat chested. So all those things occurs. So it does not take place at the same time. And that is a very important message. Now, childhood traumatic experiences, particularly sex abuse. And I tell you that the 𝗶𝗵𝗏𝗏𝗧 book, Bitter Chocolate or Lolita, you go through. These experiences leaves lot of, mark on the sexuality of a person, which comes up lately in their sexual dysfunction. I had recently an air hostess, and she was sexually abused by none other than her uncle. And when she told her mother, instead of taking her side, she took uncle's side. And that has given her a lot of pain. She's not liking to have sex. She has no desire. She's not reaching an orgasm. So any childhood traumatic experience can create a lot of problems. Sexual orientation. Nowadays, we talk a lot about it. Legally, our films, they have become quite open about talking it, So LGBT, lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender, these are the orientation which occurs. But let me tell you over here, one very important aspect, that first sexual experience with the same sex or one encounter with the same sex does not mean that you are a homosexual. It is just an experience. And the Kinsey said more than 33% have gone through such experience once in their lifetime. While only 4% of the male, now it might have changed, are homosexual or gay. 2% are lesbian. And about more than 17%, at least 5 to 10 years of their life, they were in a sexual relation with the same sex. So there are a lot of myths and misconceptions about it. Today, we are all living in a metro city. In a city like Bombay, I went to old Bombay once, and it's a stiff ladders are there, and I saw a big rat, fat rat, climbing only 2 steps and waiting, 2 steps and waiting. So I asked my friend, what is this happening? He said, shh, don't talk. He's hypertensive. So we all live in a life. Today is the 20th century, is a century of stress, urbanization and industrialization. we have become now a global village. What my friends' children are watching in USA, my children are watching the same thing at the same time, and you may be watching in Kochi and somebody in the small village. So we have become a global village. Previously, joint system was there. Head of the family, what he says was the final word. Culturally, religiously, they were bonded to each other. Now what has happened? We are a nuclear family. If husband and wife both are working, there is hardly anybody at home to see that when their children comes from home, school, nobody, they want to share that whether something good happened, bad happened, and there was nobody. I remember when I was doing a family practice, a professor, she came to me and she was so worried. She said, today there was one period was less, so that lecture was less, so I came home early. I opened the door with a latch key, and then I found my young daughter of 4 years and my servant, they were in a very compromised condition. I said, what is the age of your servant? She said, 11 years. And it's just like a doctor play. Either you can send him back or you can go to police station. At the most, they will put him to the juvenile, rehab center. And there may be a problem that you are putting a child labor at the home. After 10 days, she met me on the road. I said, what happened to that case? She said, Bombay में servant कहाँ मिलता है? So हमने servant रख लिया. Now these are the pain of today's situation of a nuclear family. Both the parents, they become anytime machine, ATM. They do not have connection with the children so many times. The other most important part is happening is a peer group. Children, they find that hormones are pouring in, their ideas, their thoughts, their fundas, their values, their morals, lot of talks, and they have a different lifestyle. And in a peer group, there are leaders. If you see a pyramid, on the top, that 30%, they make the all base people, they will follow what those 30 people are doing. And sometimes they ask to smoke, drink, take drugs and whatnot. And they follow the peer pressure. So peer group pressure, at times they don't want to be with the parents, because parents, once they say, you are now adult and you should do this, and the same parents in the evening, they say you can't go out because you are still a child. So the children are very confused. They do not know what to do. So they all feel that they are in the group of peers. It is the best time to share with them. This is the picture of our youth. He's standing on a stallion in an open ground. And you say, not to ride. Now today, when the hormones are pouring in day out, and if you say that you don't have sex, theoretically it looks fine. But practically, my experience of 40 years is entirely different. We can say them eat, drink, and be merry, and no sex. Is it possible? Every father thinks that his son is a brahmachari, his daughter is a virgin. But things are different. As I was talking about peers, they want to show their identity, they want to show different, they want to rebel against the whatever customs or the things are there. Tattooing, piercing, punk, hippie, all experimentation, they want to do it with the drugs and whatnot. They first do something, they're very impulsive, and then they think about it. And this is the happening with the body and the mind maturity. So this creates a lot of problem. This is one slide. I had purposely kept it, which should not have been here. But in a young boys, they are very much in love with their own self. They are looking at the mirror all the time. Even 2 hair falls or a small pimples make them uncomfortable. So what happens that people go and take the drugs, and this was one drug which I'm telling you I found, that one of the top film hero who had come to me, he was losing his hair and he took finasteride 1 milligram. Instead of that, he took 2 or 3 or 4 milligram. I don't recollect. And you won't believe his sexual drive had gone. And what we use the word erectile dysfunction, he was impotent for more than 2 years. And that was happening. He was not going in any relationship with his girls. Now, eve teasing. Boys wants to talk to girls. Even girl would like to talk to the boys. At Yamuna Nagar, I was invited in Haryana. When I went to do the full day workshop, I found one side boys and one side girls. I said, "Ye kuch kawali hai? Why on this side?" Then they said there is a lot of eve teasing. I said, today My whole workshop will be on eve teasing and how to talk to a girl and a boy and how to develop boy-girl relationship. Believe me, there were girls who were teasing the boys and boys who were teasing, and they did a complete role play. After 20 days, I received a letter, beautiful letter from their principal. He says, "Sir, what you have done a wonder. Today, all sorts of you teasing has stopped. Boys and girls, they sit in the canteen or in a garden or in a classroom and they talk to each other. And this is what is required, a right sort of a sexuality education. Incest and rape. You open any newspaper and things are happening, and people feel that there is nothing like an incest. About 5-7 years back, I received a phone call from one of the northeast area, and where the mother was trying to seduce the son. So incest is very common. What we think that it cannot occur between a drunkard father and a daughter, or a mother who is a widower and the son, it is quite common. Now, as I said, that every father feels that his son is a brahmachari, daughter is a virgin. This was a family planning survey done ages back. North, south, west, east, and even in the center. And so many, young people were inquired, and this thing has come down. The male at the age of first sexual experience was 14 and female 16. Now this has come down much lower than that. And what is most important, contraceptive use was only 5%. So what can happen? Teenage pregnancy, unwanted pregnancy, miscarriage, abortion, STD, HIV/AIDS, and even today's era, there will be the COVID problem can give us sexual problems. There's a lot of confusion between pregnancy and STD. Contraceptions, pills, loop, all those things, it will avoid the pregnancy. It is a safeguard against the pregnancy. But the condom is the most important part. If you do not know how to use a condom, and let me tell you, along with my team, I had gone to 𝗶𝗴𝗯𝗶𝘆. We wrote a script, we did a drama, and we had filmed it. This was during HIV/AIDS, one of the projects we had taken up. That world's best condom cannot save you from STDs unless you know how to use a condom. And so many times I throw a condom in workshop and ask even doctors that can you show me all the steps correctly how to use a condom. So condom is very much required to safeguard against the STD, HIV and AIDS. Premarital sex is, I said, very common. High pill, pregnancy test, abortion pills. And particularly during the festival time when the girls are allowed sanction, particularly Navratri and other things in Gujarat and Maharashtra, they are whole night out. And immediately after the Navratri, there is an increase in high pill, pregnancy test, abortion. And these are the things which are commonly happening. Pehle there was a roti, kapda or makan. That was your life. Today mobile, SMS, MMS, internet and pornography. Let me tell you, MMS, there is something very interesting going on between young students around the 8th and 9th standard I saw. And I have a couple of cases where they ask their girlfriends to show me your nude picture. And they take a picture and they give it. So sometimes it is viral, sometimes they are caught, and sometimes it is used for doing blackmailing them. So one has to be very, very careful about all these digital things. And internet and pornography. Today, children are glued, young children, and suddenly their study goes down, they become isolated, and they are down, and this is what is happening. Now, what is happening after looking at those things, you fantasize. And I was told some of the porn sites like MILF, I wouldn't like to give a long form of it. I'm ashamed to say that. And they have a lot of fantasy. One of doctor's brother was brought to me. He could not perform after the honeymoon, after going to Bali for 3 weeks. And when he came, he was watching all the time a group sex. And when it comes to the reality in the life, he cannot have a group sex. So he was not able to perform. So fantasy, sometimes you feel like doing it in a reality. Fantasy is the most beautiful thing. There's nothing wrong in it. But the pornography, after looking at it, the size of penis, the amount of, work goes on sexual activity for 30 minutes, 45 minutes. People try to think that this is right and something wrong with me. And that creates a sex problem. So porn addiction is a very, very important part, and particularly for a youngster. Now it is easily available. And again, the child porn, if at all you find a one clip even on your phone, it is an entirely punishable act. This is easily available. You'll find with your hospitals, chowkidar and servants and everybody in their phone, they are having at least one or two porn material over there. All of you know alcohol. It increases the desire but takes away the action. Smoking, I'll say within a minute. Obesity. This leads to lot many problems, and that is one thing which youth must remember. And we are, as I said, we are constantly under the stress. We are in a stress century. Now, instead of putting a warning like smoking is injurious to health and it can cause a death, instead of that, if they put a warning that smoking causes impotency, which we use the word now, impotence is a derogative word. Use it causes erectile dysfunction. There was a Massachusetts aging study was done for 8 years, 1,290 people. And one thing they found very, very common, that smoking can lead to erectile dysfunction. So before you take a cigarette in the hand, think about it 3 times. Fast food, junk food, you get addicted to it. And constantly it is being advertised right from the childhood. And there are no exercises. It develops obesity. There are good bacteria and bad bacteria. So number of bad bacteria increases in your gut, and that can give rise to depression, obesity. And obesity, I will tell you within a minute, can give rise to a lot many other problems. Friends, worst thing is the drug abuse. Last about 3 months, we have been watching Sushant Singh Rajput, so many people, film line, Bollywood people coming and going and meeting those people. And even in Punjab and so many other places. Now there are drug peddlers who plant some of the boys and girls in the campus. They give sometimes free. They think it's good to experiment out. They want to come out of the stress. And when they do this, this can lead to a serious problem. And there are signs. The people weight increases, they try to steal something from home, they have health problem, their studies goes down. So substance abuse, and you take a small amount of drug, but next time you need a much more amount to get that kick. And to get that, you will do anything. And I have seen number of youngsters, their life is totally ruined. So I folded and request you, keep away from drug, even on an experimentation or just to enjoy or just to have a party. It can be initially like that party, but then you get slowly addicted to it. And then it leads to suicide. Why a young person who is full of energy, vitality, vigor, he should go for a suicide? The life is too precious, and it can happen with the smallest thing. I'll tell you a story in the masturbation. As I said that junk food can create diabetes, leads to hypertension, heart attacks, depression. Very, very common in a youth. This is very common. Either a love failure, studies they cannot, or they cannot reach what other people are doing. STDs if they are not given a proper education, and alcoholism. You are aware of all this and it can ruin your life. On the other side, one side we do not talk about sex. Not in the school, not in the college, not in the home. It's a taboo subject. But other side, media, you see. Watch any film, either there is a violence or a sex. TV, I was told that everybody sleeps with everybody. So that creates a problem. Those women who are in the home only, they feel there's something wrong with them. Advertisement, from car to coffee, everything is sold with the female body. Blue films, as I told you, that gives you so many wrong ideas, and what the blue film, you think what is being shown is right, it creates a problem. And internet, SMS and MMS. So all this digital media, they affect your brain, and in a longer run, your intelligence goes down. What you see, you start believing. It not only affects your health, because when do they watch all these things? At night. So they remain awake for and there are so many boys and young adolescents I have seen that they go to sleep in the early morning. So it disturbs your sleep rhythm. And when the sleep rhythm is disturbed, it's going to affect your health in a very big way. And particularly, as I said, 16 years to 25 is your formative years. Your brain is developing. Your body is developing. And if you go into the problem, then it can be a very serious. All advertisement has created brands. Either our cricketers or the film heroes, they are being shown. So person wants to do, and to achieve that brand, what they try to do. Just I'll tell you a Bombay case. This is a commercial sex worker. People want to try out with the sex, but with the brand, what happens? That this was about more than 8-10 years back. One of the topmost college of the Bombay. 4 girls, they had gone to Delhi because with HIV/AIDS now don't want to take a risk with the commercial sex workers. So when they go there, they are given 15,000 rupees per day or per hour. I don't recollect. Within 4 days, they earn 60,000 because they want to have a branded shoes, branded clothes, branded sort of a jewelry and all sorts of things. Now they do not know it can lead to HIV/AIDS, and AIDS is a killer. This was a scene of a African village. There only children and the elderly people are there. Young people have died. It's like a life sentence, death sentence to the people. And as I was telling you earlier side, that commercial sex worker, many young boys, when they masturbate, when they is about to get married, they feel they are not enough, they don't have a strength. So test out, they go to either commercial sex workers, or one of the young boy had gone all the way to Bangkok, thinking that those are very healthy and they have been certified. He came with HIV/AIDS, was flooded with both the lungs. Today he's alive. His marriage was, separated out. The father was very nice person, but this is what can happen. A small little mistake, you may have to pay for the lifetime. And as I told you, that you have to be very careful and watch out, because they are there to trap. And 1 hour 15,000 monies, this was a long back. Today it may be more. In an era of HIV/AIDS, I say, many postures with one, which Kama Sutra teaches, is better than one with many. So monogamous relationship is very, very ideal. Unless you develop into the relationship, don't try to go for premarital sex. I have been seeing in last 40 years, lot many young people, just immediately after the marriage, they have lost their interest into sexual desire. They do not get orgasm. They have enough, they have enjoyed, and the virginity is no more a virtue. And because of that, baggages are with them, and with the result, they are all the time thinking, and that the thrill is left. Imagine yourself when you're traveling first time in a plane. You want to have a window seat. The food comes, you are seeing that what way it is given. The air hostess is when she's showing that safety precautions, you are thrilled with it. But you are traveling 100 times, then you go to sleep. You said nothing, this is all boring, and I know it. The same thing I'm getting recently during this lockout. My work has increased more than 30%. And people across from Singapore to Dubai, people are coming from all walks of life. And the worst part is the young people, both earning very well settled. You name the thing and they have got on the earth. No desire to sex, what we call unconsummation of marriage. They have not touched each other, forget about the sex. That is worst thing is which is happening. Now, intrapsychic component, cyber sex, as I told you, masturbation, it creates experimentation. And what is most common is myths and misconception. What is myths and misconception? It is copied from one generation to another. It is because of ignorance, lack of education, and we don't talk about sex. And what happens over there is there are so many common myths, and they're like a phoenix bird. The phoenix bird, it dies, and from ashes, another bird comes up. Same with the older myths are dying because of education, and new myths are coming up. And some of the most common are masturbation, Thought syndrome. The leakage, they think that has started, what they call a swapna dosh. I was told South, there's a good word, swapna bhogam, or nocturnal emission, or nightfall. Dr. N.H. has given this Dhat syndrome to the world, that this is quite common in most of the people. Now people are getting more and more educated. Corpus gland secretion, sex tonics, expectation of sex act after looking at the pupil, that one can go on like a ever-ready penis and can continue for 35, 45 minutes. Penile size anxiety. This is very, very common in a young people. Same thing with the breast size in the female. Lot of myths about homosexuality, orgasm, HIV/AIDS, and now I'm sure there'll be much more on the COVID-19 even. Masturbation, self-stimulation. It is very normal phenomenon. Kinsey's study showed that 99% of the people masturbate. It's a very, very common, normal sexual behavior. In past, all the religions, they have condemned masturbation. It is a sin. And then the scientific thing come up. And leave aside other people, the Surgeon General of USA, he believed that masturbation can cause serious problem like impotency. They used to use the word instead of erectile, infertility, madness, tuberculosis, liver problem, and whatnot. This was the Surgeon General of USA. And once upon a time, it was a great taboo. Today, we consider it's a very normal thing, very healthy thing, particularly in the era of HIV/AIDS. And the male and female both masturbate. What is wrong about masturbation is a fear of masturbation, feeling guilt, feeling ashamed of it. And I had a very interesting boy from Kerala. He was a normal growing. He used to masturbate. The semen used to come out. And he was told by the religious leaders that what seeds have been given to you by God, you are wasting. From that time, he started developing headache, palpitation. He will get sleepless night. He was going down in the studies. He didn't wanted to get married till he came to me, and he went and he used to get a lot of allergy and physical symptoms. The mind, whatever symptoms are that can come out in physically. And he came out with a very fancy that, post-orgasmic, autoimmune disease like sort of a thing that I'm getting my semen, which is giving me a lot of problem. I went into a detailed history, found it out, and not one, two or three religious leaders and some of the friends in Kochi when he was studying, they told that this is very bad and you are doing something wrong. It's a scientifically and according to the religion, this is a very, very serious thing. And people have committed suicide about 30 years back. Today, thanks to media, thanks to openness, people have started accepting masturbation as a normal. As I told you, all religion across, they think that brahmacharya is good or this is the seed. There's a word called onanism. You should not spoil these seeds. Penile size anxiety. You see, when you are walking on the road, you see a small puppy and a big dog. The moment you see a big dog, oh, beautiful big dog. Same thing, the man is worried about the size of his penis. And right from when he grows, he thinks that God has been unkind and he has given the smallest organ to him. And unfortunately, our sculptures, paintings, scriptures, and our stories and our advertisement, they have given a lot of importance to the breast size. So during growing up, this because the penis size is small or the breast is not developed or the prostate is not there, many young boys, they go through a very awkward, painful situation. These are all like somebody's nose is big, somebody is small, but as long as it can breathe, it is perfectly fine. But the wrong advertisement quacks, they have created a problem for them in the market. Now, male problems. Either they have no desire or sexual aversion. Erectile disorder, once we used to call an impotency, now we call erectile dysfunction. They don't reach orgasm. Premature ejaculation is a very, very common, we call it a 𝗍𝗔𝗏𝗧𝗏, very common male problem, and pain while having a sex. Same way in case of a female, she has a less of desire. One of the most common is vaginismus. The involuntary contraction of outer one-third of vagina and she won't allow, and dyspareunia. Either it can be due to deep or earlier. One thing you must remember is that the female is concerned. If she is masturbating with a finger, the nail should be cut, hands should be washed. She should not put any organic material or any rod or any other things which looks like a penis inside the vagina. There are many girls who had come with a serious problem in casualty with this. Or even the vegetable which is broken inside has blocked their both the tubes and they were not able to be a mother in the future. This is a very interesting study which I had presented in a Mysore at 56th annual conference. Auntie syndrome. As I told you previously, Sali Adi Garwali hoti thi. Means your sister-in-law is like half wife. Or there was a relation between Bhabhi, the the sister-in-law and brother-in-law. There was a relationship because they were at the time joint family. They cannot go out. Today, people who have started going out, they have started enjoying. But what are the women who are homemaker? Now the idiot TV shows on continuously that everybody sleeps with everybody. Then they feel that either their husbands are away or something like that, or they're on job. They feel that they are left out. So the easiest way, in one case with a courier, they had done a sex. Most common is the young boys who are around. And in another case, his own son's classmate, he used to come to write a lesson or write an essay. And she seduced him and started enjoying. She will give in favor lot of money, food. If she says, I want pizza or I want soup, that was given. Now, what happens to these young boys? They do not like the young girls because young girls, they have to go after them. And here they are getting what they wanted. But when it comes to their marriage, they feel they are finished. They have been sucked out. They have no strength left out. And that is the time they feel that they have become important. So this is the anti-syndrome which I had presented on my own. What all these things does, as I said, myths and misconceptions are copied from one generation to another. It is because of lack of education. It is because we don't talk about sex. It is because the people learn from their friends, peer group, dirty jokes, yellow papers, or even the blue films. And today, the digital media, that creates anxiety, fear, and guilt. And that causes a lot of sexual dysfunction. They go to Google Guru. And today, the best university is WhatsApp University. Any nonsense which they read and they think that this is correct, and that gives much more sexual problem than what really are. Friends, you go to your bus station, go to railway station, open any newspaper and you will find these quacks advertising. Why they are advertising? Because we society, we have not talked about sexuality, that it's a very important aspect of one's personality. Secondly, our medical colleges still today don't teach about the sexuality. When I started 40 years back, leave aside other, my own relatives and near people said, Dusra koi, you didn't got any other business, so you are going into this because you are quacks, you are equated with the quacks. And their budget goes in lakhs of rupees. And our gullible, poor patients and young boys, they go there because khoi hui jawani or vivahi jivan, they think that we have masturbated, yeah, leakage has started, or you want to increase your penis. These are the pharmacy which are going on. And they give on the name of sex tonic everything on the earth. Right from cocaine, marijuana, Spanish fly, lizard oil, shilajit, amphetamine, LSD, sandhyacha tel, palang tortan, means by eating that betel, this thing pan, you'll be able to break the bed even. So this is what is happening around that. These are the newspaper which we see. 𝗏𝗏𝗏 case is still known to all of us. During the New Year, this is thing which happened in Mumbai. Bus conductors, and even it had gone to the Tagore's University, that is Shantiniketan. These are all same stories. City gets unsafe for the woman, and have you seen this man? This happened during the New Year in Bombay. Why that is happening? What is the reason? Who are the responsible people? We are the responsible people, and I'm happy that SIMSA has taken up such a beautiful topic and asking young people to enter. To talk about sex is seen in Christianity and many religions. When they want the right sort of a scientific, matured information, nobody is there to give. And I remember the word of Archbishop of Canterbury. He says, to talk about sex is a taboo, it's a sin. But if we don't break the silence in era of HIV/AIDS, that is a greater sin. So we all needs to talk about sexuality as a part and parcel of life. With no cure and vaccine so far in AIDS, the prevention is vital. Otherwise, once a person gets HIV, his whole life is ruined. Why sexuality is education is required? Our forefathers never required. But as I said, we have turned into a global village. Today, what we learn from digital media, joint family is gone, and today nuclear family. There is tremendous amount of peer pressure. What we see in the Western world, we think that is good because you are watching. And when I surf the channels, I find in all the movies, either there is a sex or violence. And this violence is much more with the digital media. So friends, you have a choice. Either if you are having a freedom to have sex, if you think you are matured enough, then you have a choice. Would you like to have healthy relationship and healthy bodies and mind? The most important part is the communication, communication, and communication. You need to communicate to the right person about your sexual needs. What should be included in sexuality education? Previously, people used to show that male and female body at the most contraception, at the most menstruation, at the most masturbation, or at the most pregnancy. The source of information. It should not be a different class. It can be taught in a physics. It can be taught in the chemistry. It can be taught in a what you call history, geography. Even in a literature. Reproductive organs you talk, conception, contraception, emotional changes, moral values. Today, moral values has gone down. There's nothing like moral. What you feel, this is one life, let me enjoy. It's a materialistic sort of an attitude. And the most important is what they want to know. When Gauri asked me, sir, what would you like? I said, what my young people would like to, my listener would like to know, I would like to answer that. And if I have not covered it, in the end, I would be more than happy to answer that. Nobody tells young people. As I gave an example of Yamuna Nagar, what they want is how to be friendly with the opposite sex or the same sex. What is condom? How to use it? What is the meaning of four-letter words? I tell you that Surat, I was conducting a workshop in 1986, and there was one literary expert who had come. He asked all the bad words to put it on the blackboard, and he explained that how it comes from Sanskrit, this word, and what are the meaning of it. Then, is it normal to masturbate? Age-old question. In the past, in the 18th century, it was considered as a sin, as I showed you, Surgeon General, and there were devices which are made that it will give a stop the person having masturbation. They will get a shock and other things. You'll be shocked to know that one of the morning breakfast, what you take, Kellogg, it was developed as an anti-masturbatory diet. Can you believe this? How to avoid pregnancy? So there are two things, recreation and reproduction. So that has come out with the condom and the pills and other things. What is safe sex? Many people try to go through the safe period or the natural sex. These are the most unsafe. And many of them lands up into a pregnancy which they don't want. Is oral sex normal? Is anal sex normal? Kissing and petting, what has to be done? Intercourse, how to do? What sort of how long it should be? Who should initiate? Whether the light should be on or not? Whether one should take a bath before that? Whether the hygiene is important or not? How can I enjoy the sex? Nobody tells them. And these are the important things. Why this has happened, friends? $1 million question. Victorian era. This is the picture. What you see over here is a gateway of India. Set was made 1911. Pancham George, the fifth George, emperor, came to India. He landed at Mumbai, and they made a small, little set over there, which is now constructed into the stone. That is gateway of India, the symbol of Bombay. Now, Britishers, no sex. During British period, even the legs of horses or even the sofa set was covered because legs should not be open. If a girl is sick or the lady is sick, they will bring a doll and say, where is the sickness is there? So Britishers, complete Victorian era, when that sex is a taboo, there is no sex. And apart from Britishers, before that, we had Afghan, we had Hun, we had Ghaznavis, we had Mughals, we had Portuguese, we had French, all other invaders. They made our sexuality. So we have forgotten our rich past. We have forgotten what we had in the past as far as the sex is concerned. I'm so glad I was in charge of SCCRT. There were about 44 centers around the India, right from the smallest villages, that unorganized sector, to a school, colleges, doctors, sexologists, and even the media, and even the TV we have given a lot of. And what we said is a sexuality education. It's like learning ABC of the life. And what we say, that responsible behavior. With the choices, you have a choice. If you want to enjoy the sex, perfectly fine. If you think that you are adult enough to enjoy the sex, perfectly fine, as long as there is no coercion and both the people are agreeing and they are adult. But what is more important, you should be able to understand the consequences and you should be prepared for it. What the boys they do, they are, as I said, interested in sex only, physical aspect. They will just say, you don't trust me. Yes, trust is fine. And I told you there is no safe period. Even the condom breaks if you don't know how to use it. And all those things, like, who has to suffer? The girl has to suffer. I remember during my medical days, there were no phones available. One girl, she was more than 18 years. She was carrying and they were unwed mother. So she came for an abortion over there. Her boyfriend came, put her at the hospital and went away. There is no phone call, no address. While doing a DNC, a young boy, young doctor, he perforated the uterus. She started bleeding like a tap, just to save her. The dean has to come out and give a consent that remove her uterus. There was no other way. So that means she cannot be a mother for the lifetime. So I'm not here to say that take a condom in the hand and enjoy. No. If you think that you are capable and you are matured enough to have sex, see that you have a consequences of it. Ardhanarish. Half male, half female. What the Western world is talking, gender equality, was all throughout there. 2 years back, I was traveling. I had gone a Caribbean Rocky and I went for a cruise. And at one spot, there were 5 hours journey. So my bus people, when they came to know I'm a sexologist, they said, why can't you give us a talk on it? And there was a mic available. So I talked about 2.5 hours. And then I said, I want to ask one question. There were about 15 couples. So those women, I asked, what is one thing you want your husband to give you? And can you guess? It's not the diamond ring. It is not the necklace. It is not the mobile phone. It is not the new dress. It is not the purse. They said, we want our husband to respect. The most important part, treat your female partner, give them a respect, give them a love. They want romance. They don't want wham bam, thank you ma'am. That most of the people, they don't do a foreplay and they just go like that. And the women, she's not yet prepared for sex. So the gender equality we teach most of the people. And I remember one of the talk I said, okay, would you go and help your wife in the kitchen? Most of the boys says why we should go in the kitchen, then why we should get married. Then there was a small group said, it depends. I said, what do you mean by depends? He said, if it is a love marriage, we'll go and help. If it is arranged marriage, we won't help. The third group said, okay, no, sir, we will earn so much. We'll have one cook, two servants. And there was one small young boy who got up. He said, sir, I will go and help my wife in the kitchen. I was very happy. At least there is a one soul. And what he told me, I'll go and make so much of mess in the kitchen. My wife will say, you go out and I will manage the things. But what I want to say that today, changing the diaper, my son has got a recently grandchild. Now he turned 1 year, but he changes the diapers. He helps out his wife, my daughter-in-law, and everything. So that is what a young boy should learn. Lifestyle changes. I don't have to say more. Balanced diet, exercise, yoga, and the most important is the sleep. Deprivation of sleep, even if you sleep during daytime, it is against the cycle. And it is going to affect your brain, it is going to affect your sexual life, it is going to affect your intelligence, everything. So my first request to all of you, make a timetable. Get up early in the morning, but night you should go to sleep at a very, very timely time. Otherwise you go on, even I do surfing the channels and TV, and it's an addiction. So I would say do this. And relaxation. I teach in my workshop relaxation, art of doing nothing. The moment you relax your mind, you think what you want to do today and what you want to do tomorrow and what is your goal. I can tell you sky is the limit. It does not cost you anything. You can do any place on the earth. And if you learn a proper yogas and relaxation, tomorrow if there is nothing available, you can earn out of it. Friends, one side you say that what was happening in the past, the period and sperm ejaculation was coming at the age of 15, 16, 17. And our great-grandfather were getting married by the 18, or even they had a children by that time. So their sexual need was taken care. Today, as I said, the menarche and spermarchy, it has come down to a younger, but even in the 11, 12 years, On the other side, they want to graduation, post-graduation, marriage has gone up to 30, 35. So during that period, when the hormones are pouring in, do you think that person is not going to have sexual? So one needs to channelize. There are a lot of things to adventure spots are there. Apart from that, there are beautiful hobbies. I request all of you to take up one hobby from tomorrow onward. It will not cost you anything, and after 15, 20 years, you will remember that Dr. Raj gave very, very important thing, and today I'm something. It will relieve all your tension, it will relieve your stress, you'll be able to make your impact over there. And what you see over here on the right side, it's a street play. At Lucknow in 1991, I had conducted a 3 days workshop. And the president of Lucknow Family Planning Association, she was surprised that these boys, they don't go to college, but here they come 8 o'clock and they don't want to leave at 8 o'clock at night. And on the third day, when I told them what I told them, I will tell you in the end, but they made young inspirer group like Simsa. I hats off to again you people, young people, you are doing most wonderful work. So they went from Lucknow to Banaras, taking a placard, doing a street play, teaching them about the dowry, alcohol, drugs, smoking, abortion, family planning, HIV/AIDS, and whatnot. So, friends, you can do a wonder. This is what about I'm telling about the people who are in the captive population. What about the slums? Bombay's biggest slum, Dharavi, when I went there. And this was again 20 years back. And when I talked to those young boys, what happened at the end? Two boys came, sir, you have taken for us, can you take for our sisters? So all of you, whatever you have learned today, go and talk to your 5 friends, go and talk to other people, make them aware about HIV/AIDS and other things. Dr. 𝗦𝗏𝗠𝗦𝗥𝗔𝗟𝗔, she's no more. She's my friend, my niece's teacher she was. And I introduced, and this education in human sexuality, I was responsible in SECRT to bring out this book. And I'm saying those of you who want to study human sexuality, one of the most beautiful book. It's like a Gita, Bible, or Quran. What happened that one of the in classroom, the young children, they started playing. Somebody got from one girl's purse a tampon. So they started playing like a ball. And there was a chaos. So immediately after the recess, the noise went to the dean, and she was the principal. And when she heard about it, she said immediately after recess, I'll take 2 classes. She came in the class. Rather than scolding them, she taught what is menstruation, what happens to men, what happens to the girl. She put down all the bad words, explained to them. Do you know what was the fruits of it? Anytime in the class, any girl was in the period, boys will come and help her back. They'll bring a coffee for her. They'll try to help out in the lesson. So no education puts you down. Our government will never start sexuality education. Parents will never talk. Even if they want to talk, they are ignorant. So you people, young people, you will have to teach. And any education, it does not bring you down. Always education gives you more awareness, more responsibility, and better things to do. I had started, apart from that education, the next word is a counseling. And if you do a premarital counseling, and I'm happy that some of the Christian churches, they have got a before marriage, they have to have a certificate and they have to have a 3 such session. So if you do that, you explain their roles. This was a Asha Parekh hospital. The behind who is standing is Asha Parekh, heroine herself. More than 50 years she has been working and she's still alive. The another is from Care Foundation. And we started Ashnak, Adolescent Sexual Health, Nutrition, AIDS, Awareness Thoughts. I had come out with a therapy of common sexual problem, a handbook. When I started my work, there was nothing available to treat the sexual dysfunction. And believe me, 44 contributors from India and abroad, and including Dr. 𝗍𝗏𝗏𝗏, who gave the world, 𝗏 syndrome, he has contributed a chapter. 56th Annual Conference of Indian Psychiatric Society. Keynote address 2004. Now in psychiatry, I was the only sexologist over there. There were 2,000 psychiatrists over there. It was a 3 days packed program, 19 cubicles, things were going on. I was given a keynote address. And I said, call to bring out sex out of closet in a sexuality yesterday, today, tomorrow. I said, psychiatry, this subject of sex is an orphan. Today, psychiatry has got a child psychiatry, geriatric psychiatry, forensic psychiatry, military psychiatry, rehab psychiatry, social psychiatry. Why sexuality is left as an orphan? And believe me, Dr. T.S.S. Rao at JSS Medical College, he took up this, and we worked for nearly 8 years, and it has been taken as a subspecialty. And the very good news for all the medicos, last year at JSS Medical College, I've started a certification course. First time, a scientific study on sexuality is available at myself. Friends, this is another Council of Sex Education Planned Parenthood International, and I am a founder, member, and a trustee. And recently I have been given an emeritus, and I come out with the news and views. There are more than 800 people. Every year we have a program, we have a regular newsletters. Those of you who are interested in joining or interested in the sexual medicine, either in education or parenthood or anything, you can join this organization. Man survives earthquakes, experiences the horrors of illness, and all the tortures of soul. But the most tormenting tragedy of all time is and will be the tragedy of bedroom. And nobody wants to talk about the tragedy of bedroom. These are silent cry. They are crying silently. They are a couple who are moving in the society very beautifully, but nobody understands what pain they are going through. I always say, a small child gets 101 fever, the whole family is upset. Somebody cutting the vegetable and gets the blood, the neighbors will come. Some unknown person lying on the road, even the unknown people will come and help and take him to the hospital. But these are the silent cry nobody hears. And again, I'm proud of my country. 𝗏𝗟𝗏 in 300 AD gave world a Kama Sutra. I had presented first paper in 1983, and every time I read, it gives something different thing. What 𝗏𝗟𝗏 said, if you follow, there will not be a sexual problem. Though it is old, but very relevant. Some of the part you can remove it. They have talked about the male sexuality in a different way, female sexuality, what to do, how to have foreplay, how to reach an orgasm, whether oral sex is good, what are the 𝗶𝗴្� sex toys you can use it, what sort of a 𝗶𝗴្�𝗀𝗃 you can have in medicine. Friends, in sex, in the past, as I said, Kama Sutra, 𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗃𝗏, or even our god and goddesses have been shown in your relationship. You go to south in any temple, there is at least you'll find one erotic sculpture over there. Khajuraho, Bhubaneswar, Ambernath near Mumbai, Modhera near Ahmedabad, and any of the temple I challenge you, you go and at least you will find one structure over there. We have taken warmth of the sex into the temples of all the temples. It is not no more a sin. It was no more a taboo. And when I went to Ambernath, I saw that there were around the temple. And what we do, Linga Puja. What is it? Linga and Yoni is nothing but the phallic symbol and the vagina. So we have been very open society. As I said, it has gone down. And if you see these temples, so beautifully, they are, I would say, the first educational gallery of the world. And in 1985, in the 7th World Congress, I had presented exhibition Erotica, which showed right from the Vedic period till the Britishers left, how the sex was seen in our country in paintings, sculptures, day-to-day objects, and manuscript. Sex was never considered as a taboo. It was a part and parcel of life. And what science says, a physician without the knowledge of herbs, an accountant without the knowledge of figures, and a married man without the knowledge of sexual science are all worthless. So all of you, when you think that you are adult enough to have sex, you should have a perfect knowledge about it. And is there any one program which you can pass into all around India? No, friends. It is not like Sanjay Kapoor's, making a salad that take a cucumber, take a tomato, take a, radish, and beetroot and cut it and toss it and put something. No, it's ever evolving. Just to give an example, in Hyderabad, I was conducting a morning, I was talking to a college student, girls' college. They were all in burqa. And when I asked them, you have to break the ice to talk to them. I said, do you get married on your own? You would like to have love marriage, or you would like to have your father to tell you to get married? They said, doctor, they didn't utter a word. But at the same time, same evening, 9th standard girls, they asked me during HIV AIDS. They said, suppose if you have a oral sex, do you think we'll get an HIV? So there cannot be one program. It's like a Facebook update. It's ever evolving. As you go on Facebook and WhatsApp every hour and you find something new. The sexuality is today changing. It's a very dynamic thing. I had been conducting sexuality education workshop for parents and children. I became the bridge with what parents wants to talk to the children. So the communication between you and your friends, you and your family, you and your partner, you and your doctors, you and your teachers is very, very important. Friends, I have conducted a lot of works for psychiatrists, even outside India, Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and given a talk abroad. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. And the next best time is now. Those all of you are listening today, tomorrow onwards, I want to be a very responsible person. And I want to see that you have a very healthy sexuality. I want every college, this is my dream, should have a counseling center, which gives them a guidelines, which will avoid the suicide and the negative and painful aspects of the sex. Let me tell you one line. I had attended during the Pakistan and the China war. 2 training program was one in 𝗶𝗴្𝗍 and one is Zangadhar and Gujarat was there. I tell you the discipline. If you want to come up in the life, make your timetable, put a discipline, make your goal, divide into small goals, and you will be able to reach. And this is the only thing by which you can reach the nation and make the top. And I always said in Lucknow, while ending my talk, I said, after 3 days, I am going back. Dr. Raj cannot come to you people every now and then. You people, full of vitality, full of vigor. And I gave a quote of Jagruti film, 𝗶𝗴្𝗏𝗏 जी, जिन्होंने लिखा था कि मेरे वतन के लोगों, same person has written, उठो, छलांग मारो, आकाश को छू लो, तुम ही भविष्य हो मेरे भारत विशाल के. Stand up, jump, and touch to the sky. This is what the youth is. And you are the future of my India. And that there is always another day, and that day is not away. It is the 12th January, National Youth Day. There cannot be a better icon than Swami Vivekananda, who says, arise, awake, and stop not till the goal is reached. And if you can do this, my talking to you will be very useful. Friends, in the end, I would just say, any one of you have, my phone numbers are here. Any one of you have any problem on Friday between 4 and 5 in the evening, you can call me up. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that very enlightening talk, sir. Now we have few questions.
Please.
We'll quickly go into them.
Okay.
Sir, the first question is, why aren't basic sex education classes given in schools and colleges? At what age should schools start providing these basic knowledge?
See, as I said, we want not sex education, sexuality education. And I said, right from the birth, the way you hold your baby, way you talk to the baby. When my son was in the womb, I used to talk to my son through the abdomen of my wife. So sexuality education is not that one class here and there, as I said, only contraceptive or male and female organ or a masturbation. It's a dimension of a personality. And no government will start, because lot of problems they had faced it while doing it. So every year they talk about it, but nothing happened. So it is the family, schools, social people should start this education. And there is no age. As I said, it depends. Suppose a small young, your brother is there and he comes and he watches in case somebody is pregnant, next door neighbor. So you take up this opportunity to talk to them. Take it as a springboard. It need not be a, like male to male or mother. Still, girls that were lucky. When they come into period, they can talk to their mother. When their breasts are developing, they talk. When they go pregnancy for the before marriage, if there is infertility, menopause, they all the time they get, while boys does not get this chance. So there is no age bar. It has to start right from the birth, as Freud has said.
Thank you, sir. So the second question is there anything like normal sexual behavior? If yes, what exactly is normal and healthy?
See, as I told you earlier, that normal, there's no word like normal things. It varies from place to place. But my simple definition is two consenting adult, anything they do under the sun, which makes them sexually, mentally, physically, spiritually happy. There is no coercion. And both of them with the consent, if they do anything, adult person, I think that is what is the normal according to me.
Thank you, sir. The third question is, it is commonly assumed that woman bleeds during her first intercourse. Is it true? Does it apply to every woman?
See, that was considered as a past. I didn't wanted to talk more about the virginity. Once upon a time, virginity was a virtue. First night was for a man to show his manliness and for a woman to show a stained handkerchief showing that she is virgin and she is a very clean person. Now, lot of problems and marriages are broken. Today, virginity is no more considered as a virtue. I see my couples, they talk to each other that I am a virgin and I am not a virgin. I had a 4 or 5 sex before the marriage, sort of a thing. But as you said, that not necessarily that everybody bleeds. Because I had a counselor, she was so worried that my husband, though she was about to get married, if I don't bleed, then what will happen? So it's a wrong concept. While playing, while exercising, while putting the tampon, or it's a quite elastic thing. So all the people, if it bleeds, don't think it. And I had a very funny case. She had gone to one of my skin specialists immediate after marriage. First night she didn't allow the husband to touch. Then twice, thrice she went and then asked one day. She won't allow him to examine even skin specialist. One day he said, you just put a cut, bring the blood out, put it on a handkerchief or a tissue paper and show to my husband that I have broken her hymen and she had a sex before the marriage. So virginity, having a hymen intact does not mean that person has no sex. So that is a very wrong concept. And it's not necessary that everybody should bleed. There are different types of hymens.
Sir, still in many parts of our country, people would want their wife to be a virgin.
Right, sir? Why in India, even abroad?
True, because,
sir. It's very common. So that's a taboo which has to be removed. See, for a man, I had a young boy who was my friend's son. He came and he brought his fiancée. He says, just examine her and see that she is virgin or not. And I knew his sexual behavior. I said, have you thought what about you? Everybody wants to, because we are a male dominating society. That's why I said equality. And don't think, and if at all you had a earlier sexual relationship, be open, talk it out before. Then tomorrow with digital media, if you are caught, I'm dealing with right now 3 cases where they are on the path of divorce because they have found their past relationship with somebody and other things.
Right. So for those men who ask about the female's virginity, is there a way to know whether a man is actually a virgin or not?
No, nobody can say, number one. And now you'll be surprised to know that there are more and more making vagina beautiful, plastic surgeons in the female and making a hymenoplasty. Particularly in the UAE and other things, a lot of Indian doctors are doing this because they want to show that hymen was intact. So such things are coming up, but these are all wrong. Instead of being open, as I said, communicate, talk to each other openly.
So moving to the next question, in a new TV series, a kissing scene was shown in a temple. Madhya Pradesh government filed an FIR against it. If our temples have erotic sculptures, why is this scene considered to be a crime?
It itself is a very big subject. Those erotic sculptures, what we see, is entirely different. I had presented a paper on Khajuraho Symphony in Stone at Heidelberg in 1986, and I gave nearly 15 to 18 reasons for it. So do not try to mix up. And every religion, if you say whether it is in the temple or in the mosque, do you think that it will be allowed? It won't be allowed. So let's be very, and as I said earlier, that appropriate time, appropriate thing. If here I am sitting in a banyan, would you like it? Or if I go to some, classical jalsa and wear this dress, would you think it will be okay? Or if I go to nudist colony and I'm wearing this, is this fine? Or if you are wearing a bikini and talking to me, will it be fine? So at an appropriate place, I've said under the roof, in your privacy, what you do is perfectly fine, as long as there's no coercion and two consenting adults are doing it. But here, freedom does not mean you are offending somebody. See, freedom does not mean that you talk whatever you like it about the country, about yourself, or anybody's religion. You should have seen, I have not uttered a single word about the religion, that this religion good. I said all the religion across. So never bring up religion. It is somebody's faith, and we must respect it. And they say, okay, when they say the one of the theory was, okay, you put that outside, that means that you leave the sex outside and then enter with a pure mind. So there are so many things, so let's not focus on that, because it is some, there are so many temples where only female are allowed or male are allowed. So these are all the part, it's a tradition. It may change, it may require change. I'm not saying no, but there should not, it should be done in a, discuss it out, find it out. If you feel, see, there are one religion I know, they won't allow even a 6 months baby girl, because they found that the male and female, whatever you may say, the spark occurs and the sex occurs, and lot of things comes up in the future. So they wanted to do this. So each religion has got their own ideas. So I wouldn't say that our religion are wrong. That was done in the past. Even a smallpox, when I was a child, it was considered that it is the curse from the mother. Now how a mother can give a curse? Today we have understood that it's a, take a injection and smallpox we have eradicated. Same thing, 99.99% polio has been eradicated. Otherwise they say there was a goddess's, chariot was going and the wheel went above the legs, and that's why he got such problem. So religion, once upon a time, what was there was a science. Today, if you see, we are wearing the mask. Jainism saying, taking a bath before going from outside doing. These are all, initially it was a religion, then it is converted into science, and now we are becoming open. But one thing you must remember, you have to be very, very responsible for your this thing. Under closed door, what you do is your job. But outside, when you do, my teacher used to say, if you feel like having a sex on the fan, do it, as long as the fan is strong. But outside, you have to behave. So behavior, your public behavior should be entirely different. It should not put somebody into inconvenience. Because when I went to Nadiad, I was asked first question, okay, you are saying that masturbation is okay, while our religion, all the religion says it is bad. What you have to say? So I just answered that in a very simple way. When I came here, I had decided 4 things. I will not talk what are the ideas of Mahatma Gandhi, who was a man of a century. What are his ideas on sex? Entirely different. I will not talk about Acharya Rajneesh, who was a thinker of the century, whose ideas were entirely different. I will not talk about politics, and I will not talk about religion. We must respect. It is somebody's. If you like something to do, I would respect you what you want, as long as you are not hurting me.
So we'll move to the next question.
Yes.
How much important is it to satisfy one's sexual pleasure?
Can you repeat again?
How much important is it to satisfy one's own sexual pleasure and needs?
Yes, very, very important. As you said that with the pleasure, you develop a happy hormones, prostaglandin, and you feel feeling of well-being. A good sex can increase your self-esteem, It will give you immunity against lot many diseases. It's a type of an exercise, your calories burn, you get a good sleep. If it is done in a monogamous relation, it develops more and more intimacy, and there is a doubtful that it can stop even the prostate cancer. But coming back again to you, that many a time, as I said in my talk, thank you, ma'am. So, man, the moment you is to get an erection, particularly young boys, they get an erection, hard-on erection. They want to satisfy, they want to ejaculate, and it's fine. But they do not think about their partner. The moment they ask them to have it, they should see they want a romantic talk, they want a love, they want cuddling, they want a good foreplay, they want a respect, they want a cleanliness, and then you can have sex. It's not like a dogs which are doing on the road. So pleasure components is very important. Taking the Kama Sutra says that the female pleasure he has given a lot of importance, which normally the female were just in a Victorian era was like a baby child producing machine, nothing beyond that, or the cleaner at the home, which should be gone. And that's why I said respect and gender equality is very, very important.
Thank you, sir. The next question. Can sexual coercion can be considered as a form of assault?
101%. It can never be done. Nobody should touch. And that's why many women, they say he tried to, no one can touch you. The moment you just give a glare to that person, whoever he may be, he will be shaken up. Nobody will try. Unless you think that you don't have a self-esteem, unless you think that you are inferior, unless you think you want some benefits from that person, then and then you will allow. Otherwise, no man on this earth, and coercion can never be done. See, nowadays, forget about the physical coercion. The coercion can occur with the digital. Taking a photograph, sending it to social media. And I had a very beautiful video where a girl takes a photograph and sends to her boyfriend, and instead of going to boyfriend, it goes to father. And father is angry and he sends it back and it goes to all the friends in the market. So this is what can happen. So coercion need not be only a physical, and sexual assault can be the worst thing on this earth. And as I told you about that girl who was an air hostess, and she lost all the interest in the sex. And there was another case, she was being raped in one of the private place, and she could not have sex for years together. She came to me for the treatment, and when she got first time orgasm, she said the whole bed sheet was wet with the a lubrication. That much she felt happy. So it's a worst trauma, not only for the girls but for the boys also. And there are things happening in the elder boys who do it in the hostels, or in the navy, or in the army, or somewhere, any places where two men are there, or in the jail. So coercion, see, it's the most beautiful thing. It's a love, it's a respect, it brings out your whole personality. Why you have to be like an animal? So I always say sex for three words. One, for the reproduction, which was in all the religion says that it's for reproduction, reproduction, reproduction. Second is for the recreation. And then you saw the effect of it in HIV/AIDS. Anybody started sleeping with anybody without thinking. And last is a relationship. It's not that you are just physically what you do 5 minutes in a dark room. It is how you react to that person all throughout the life. It is a mixture of two culture, two society, two family, two religion, two ideology. And once you merge, that's the most beautiful thing on earth.
Right, sir. Next question. Is masturbation healthy? Are there any side effects? And when can you say that you are overdoing it?
Six. Can I say your car has a governor? You cannot overdo it. Masturbation, or even you start drinking the water, you cannot overdo it. Or even a cooker, you cannot overdo it. So there is nothing like overdo it. Everybody has a capacity to masturbate, number one. It's a very healthy, normal, growing up things, which is much better than to experiment outside in today's era without any safety. It can create a serious problem. What is bad about masturbation is feeling guilt, feeling ashamed, feeling bad about it, and not having a good education after the it is a normal. And lastly, getting addicted means you are not studying, doing anything, constantly doing masturbation. And how you masturbate? If you use some gadgets or something, you can harm sometimes. So what way you do it? These are all important things as far as the masturbation is concerned. And I remember a case. I had gone Saturday, Sunday for some talk outside Bombay. Friday, the mother had come with a young boy who was over, and it was a big gap between his son and her. She brought him over here, me. She said she had been seen by psychiatrist, had been seen by a neurologist. Psychiatrist said he's medically normal, mentally. The physically he's normal, but he says he's not ready to get married, and his marriage is after 2 days or 3 days. So when I saw, I said he requires a time, maybe Monday morning we meet. And I gave them a 10 o'clock appointment. Believe me, 9:30 she called me up and I was feeling very happy. And she said, sir, I said, yes, you can come down, I'm back. He said, no, sir, no need. Friday night, he tried to meet his girlfriend. He could not perform. He thought that because of masturbation, I have lost my strength. My first night failure. I have written a complete chapter on that big book on first night failures. Abroad, nothing like first night failure. But here, 30% of my cases comes from the first night failure due to either lack of education, they do not know what is anatomy, how to do it, what position, and other thing. And this boy, what he did, he committed suicide on Friday night after meeting her girlfriend, her fiance. And Sunday, that girl created a suicide. And why that happened? Because we have not considered sexuality education as a very important aspect of our life and personality.
So last question. Is LGBTQ community against nature, or is it just a biological evolution?
See, LGBT, it can be itself is a complete talk by itself. When I came from USA after studying in San Francisco, which is a gay capital, I was totally desensitized and I accepted. In USA, when two people meets, they will shake hands and say, I'm a Republican or I'm a Democrat. Next word, I'm a homosexual, heterosexual, or bisexual. And that common it is. Though they are in the minority, but they are normal. All over the world, it has been accepted except certain countries. In our country also, after the Dostana, after the some of the film people, now we have started opening and accepting. Recently, one of my friend's son has got married to another boy, and they are living together. This is, as I said, that though they are in the minority, but they are normal. Don't consider that they are. And 1985 or 1987, American Psychiatric Society has removed it from illness. It is a normal physiological phenomenon, normal process of growing up. Everybody does it, a male and female. There are a few cases I have found that they don't do it. I agree with them. But in one way or another, and if somebody says that they have not masturbated, either they are the liar. And this is what happened to one of the talk where I was taking, the principal said, do you think I have also masturbated? I said, you decide, either you want to one person who is a liar or who is a mad person, or you want to be normal person with 99. And there is nothing like excessive masturbation. One cannot go on doing it. There are a lot of jokes about it. I don't want to talk in a public media, but there is everything has a limit. You cannot go beyond limit anything.
Thank you, sir. Due to time constraints, we'll have to wind up the question answer session.
First of all, Simsa, you and your whole team, hats off to you.
Thank you, sir.
Because I told you that Kerala boy who came and he was not getting married, and I still feel you are doing the most wonderful job. And you will be happy to know I have done more than 3 or 4 programs in Kochi. And when I come there, my old fort, that Dutch, and there is a Chinese net, and behind that there is a small restaurant. These are my most favorite places. So you have done a wonderful job. I once again thank you very much for giving me an opportunity to talk to people.
Thank you, sir. And I would also like to thank every participant who sent us questions for the session. Now moving on, Rohit will be taking over from here.
Please send me recordings later on.
Sure,
That's
sir.
one request.
Hello. Thank you, Gauri.
Yes, Rohit.
Hello and good evening all. I'm 𝗶𝗴្𝗍𝗰𝗃, and it is my immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks tonight. First of all, I would like to thank our respected sir, Dr. Bhatt sir. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us tonight and for the wonderful session that you have presented. There was a lot of doubt about the topic, and even when I heard the topic, I was like, what will be sir going to discuss about? And I was like very excited about the topic. Thank you so much for cutting it down, jotting it down to simple facts and telling us. Some aspects which I really enjoyed is like how you mentioned that sexuality is the dimension of a personality, and it depends on so many factors. Like you said, sir, family, school, religion. Thank you for that. Also, you touched topic like porn addiction and first night failures and the risk factors to sexual health. And also, you helped us to bust some of the myths that we have. Like, so I always used to think that there are so much taboos around this sexual health and education. And for that, today, the youths of today, we go to media and unverified sources to find answer. And it has been such a wonderful experience to have such an experienced and knowledgeable person like you with us, and to shed some light to educate us about these topics. And when
you will be happy to know that on 29th February and 1st March, because even medical colleges don't teach. At BJ Medical College, Psychiatric Department in Sassoon Hospital in Pune, 44 students, 8 medical colleges and 6 teachers. I took 18 hours Saturday and Sunday complete workshop over there on sexuality. So this is the need of the day. And I think hats off to all of you that you brought out such a beautiful topic. And on a HIV/AIDS day, AIDS day, so it can reach to many people, and I'm sure it will help in their positive aspect of their sexuality and their choices and responsibilities.
Thank you for your kind words for Simsa, sir. I also agree how you said that medical college. I am in a medical college. I'm in my 3rd year, and yet I have never had a sexual education class. So I agree, sir. We have to have sexual education more, and I hope that all the youths today will take a good step towards it, sir. And before concluding, I would also like to thank all the audiences for their questions. You guys have made the session more interactive and fun. The technical team too, apart from the initial small glitch, for which we are extremely sorry, the whole event went on smoothly. Thank you, guys.
That happens in all sexual talks. Don't worry. Initially, there are problems, teething problems.
Yes, sir. And also the entire team, the SIMSA Kerala organizing team, especially led by Gauri and the entire team. Thank you, guys. Without you guys, this won't have been possible. And I would like to wind up with this. Almost 37 years ago, HIV was isolated for the first time. And 32 years ago, the World AIDS Day was proposed by J.W. Bunn and Thomas Netter. And 20 years of intense and immense education, strenuous efforts, and tireless dedication, and still people living with HIV/AIDS are facing so much stigma, so much prejudice in our society. Come on, guys. Let us bring the change. Let us pledge towards Maqbool.